Now, I know I've developed this reputation for hating Aaron and the Church of Arontology and all that. That's actually not true. I do admire Aaron at actually a lot of levels. As a grifter and con artist, he's really, really good. That he gives you, well, nothing, and then sells it off as $50, $60, or $100 worth of goods. Like, wow. Yeah, you sign up to the Church of Uranus. Man, you'll get thousands of dollars of valuable goods. Oh, my Lord. The Church of Uranus. Sign up right now, kids. But following the Church of Uranus, and I would agree on Aaron on many levels, like, you have to do things on YouTube to grow your channel. And whatever the audience wants, even if it's complete lies, the audience will get it. And if that's what they want from Aaron, Aaron was more than happy to deliver the most crazy lies or stupidities and cash it out. So, lesson learned. I've tried not to totally decimate the channel with that kind of stupidity, but you got to be a little stupid on YouTube. So let me just dive into, and it's not going to be fake. I will provide some receipts and this is a curious coincidence that decade after decade, both the Church of Scientology and Israel, especially its more spy propaganda wing, have with impunity been able to operate and never be exposed. But more and more and more, it's at least becoming bearable to expose some of the crimes and abuses of the church and the state of Israel. So, from an activist angle, and let me be clear, I've been more anti-Israeli due to my anti-war protesting. That goes back more years. So, I know a lot about this, but as I say, I'm pretty stunned that criticisms of Israel that were forbidden just a few short years ago, not joking, just 4 years ago, you cannot say these things, you cannot even talk about them. People think you're crazy. You must be part of the KKK. You're crazy. What do you mean? God. And so on and so forth. And, that's the same thing with the Scientology. Scientology has been worse off, but even a few years ago, if you said this or that, say, oh my God, I just believe my Church of Scientology is God. And full stop. Say, oh, there you go. I mean, I don't like what they're doing. You don't like what they're doing, but I don't know. I mean, it's a religion. I mean, come on, stop it. Stop being a hater. Alrighty then. So a few years do change things. And I have to give credit to Aaron. He was a part of that, right? Now, let's get right to it. So Aaron has finally, after so long, given us evidence of child abuse. Wow. After all this time. I know I'm going to be wasting your time and my time, but it's like, okay, fine. You're giving us this evidence of child abuse. I'm just playing along with Aaron because he's not doing any such thing. Okay, so Aaron published a photo. Is this girl even 16? I don't know. I don't know this girl. We'll call her M to protect her privacy. So M is apparently being certified as an auditor in the Church of Scientology. And Aaron's like, let me just try to be exact with the quote. This is from Scientology's own internal promo. Just this week, the type of Scientology auditing this child has received in order to be, quote, grade 4 completion qualifies as sexual abuse. This is not only accepted in Scientology, it is celebrated and promoted. Okay, well, right, that is the claim. And the advertisement says, person is 16 years old and a high school graduate. She is a fully trained Hubbard Dianetics auditor, a pro metering graduate, and grade 4 completion. She is also examiner trained. She's currently in training to be a supervisor and will be doing her auditor training. So I'm often accused of getting things wrong. From what I understand, Aaron's job was to be basically a supervisor of supervisors. And he affirms that he himself really didn't do much audit. He did some. He actually did do some auditing, but not a lot. So let's try to work with the Church of Uranus. Okay, so let's lay it out because Jerry Armstrong's more important. We'll get to that. Okay, I read out what Aaron has said, the internal promotion, the promo flyer. He only gives one photo with that information. Okay, fine. I guess in principle, being serious about this, call your local FBI and say, hey, I've got evidence of child abuse. And I'm sure that FBI agent will be, oh, okay, that is interesting. Alrighty then, bring it forward. Let's get going. And you bring to them a photocopy or your entire laptop or whatever. Say, here you go. Here's the child abuse. And I'm sure the FBI agent will be nodding patiently and be like, alrighty then. Okay, let's open up a case. And fine, good faith. Okay, Aaron, are we going to go to the FBI with this? And the answer is no, we're probably not going to go. I mean, one of two things are possible here. One, it's possible that the church stupidly has admitted to a massive criminal set of crimes, right? That it's auditing the child and the child is an auditor. That is illegal. Therefore, she possibly and a ton of people are going to go to jail. That's possible. They made a catastrophic error. And Aaron, being the Batman detective, found out, oh, you admit to the auditing and child auditing and crime. Abracadabra. Or, yeah, that doesn't mean it. And moreover, Aaron knows it doesn't mean anything, but his audience just is like, oh, yeah, the schlop. And they are eating it up like chicken feet, like, oh, the Church of Uranus, once again, you have provided a miracles. Oh, my child, my child. Okay, well, again, to hear me say this, but in the United States of America, as you know, it's the United States of America, full stop, we actually have to check the locality, the actual state. Is it illegal for this child to do what the child is doing, allegedly, in that state? And if it's not, it is not illegal, therefore it's not illegal. Again, we have to look at the actual locality where the crime happened. That's how it works, good or bad. That's what we got to do. But to date, and again, Alonzo has asked this over and over again, what crime is being committed and what criminal statute is being violated? It should be easy as punch. So we'll just go over to the live vote. We'll do something more in depth. So with Tommy Scoville, good or bad, with Vermont, there are statutes on his crime. We can look them up. Okay, that is the crime. We can go through if he was properly convicted, so on and so forth. There you go. So here's the statute in Vermont. We can discuss it. Okay, what statute is being violated here? I'm not being told what statute is being violated. Because again, without that, we're not going to move forward. Let's also just get to the punchline. Let's say, again, if that's your life goal, go for it, that this controversy, which has been ginned up by Sergis, the Serge Del Mar, that's not his real name, a friend of the Masterson family, and Aaronis, the friend of Mike Render. Let's say this is a real controversy. Well, I hate to break it to people, but what do you want the church to do? Because if this is your controversy, well, what you're pressuring the church is to just reform the auditing process and basically eliminate a certain series of questions. That's about it. That's about it. If you want to think that's a big victory or that is a major change or whatever, have at it. I'm not here to gatekeep protesting. You do what you want. But that seems the most likely outcome. And after they do that, you're kind of stuck because this is what the comment section keeps thinking is a big victory, right? So it's like, oh, that child is being asked horrible things. Okay, fine. Let's go with that. X is being asked horrible things. Is that a crime or not? Well, we can investigate. Let's say it's not a crime. Doesn't mean anything. But let's say it is a crime. Okay, well, then the person just has to change the questions and then there's no criminal activity. According to Aaron, the Church of Uranus, in his own fandom. Okay, so there you are. Just change the questions and that is about it. There we go. Whatever. And there we are. But let's say they do that. Let's say they change those questions. Now what? Where are we going to go? I guess this $4 billion criminal cult is no longer a criminal cult. And there you go. You just go home because that is a major issue for the Church of Aaron. By the way, it's not a major issue for Aaron. Let's be very clear. Aaron doesn't care about it. There is 0.0 evidence Aaron cares about children or cares about the victims of child abuse or cares about any of this stuff. Aaron was in Scientology when a lot of these things were happening. He didn't care. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything at all. But now let's get to Jerry Armstrong, who is making a very valid accusation where statutes can be lined out, and Jerry does. We can get into specifics. And Jerry, having studied this carefully, can say, yes, the IRS and the Church of Scientology, by lying about him, declaring him mentally unfit, and having a fair game campaign against him, that is illegal. He, as a citizen, has certain rights. The church is violating those rights. Ergo, this is not hard to understand, by predicating, right, basing their tax-exempt status that Jerry's a madman, a psychopath, yada, yada, criminal, which was disproven. This was disproven in an actual legal case by the IRS willingly, with the Church of Scientology, violating Jerry's rights and trying to get around this court ruling of the 1980s. That's violating the law. You cannot do that. Cannot just willfully, knowingly lie about people. You cannot do that. But the church did. When it's submitted, because this is a submission, it's not magic, when they plead with the IRS, can you give us tax exempt status? They have to be like, well, we want to, but there's this court case blocking us. Oh, we're going to lie about it. Oh, well, okay. Well, no, it's not okay. You can't do that. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you are. And I want to be careful here. I'm not trying to belittle these people, because I do think there are sincere activists and some sincere people who want to understand Scientology and oppose the criminal elements. But someone who's asking, I don't understand this. Why doesn't the mafia do the same thing? Why doesn't every corporation? Because it's not a religion. Right? I think people are confused. Jerry is not denying it's religion. If you want to be whatever, a weirdo who takes Hubbard seriously as a religion, you can do that. And you can go to the IRS and get tax exempt status. That is not the issue. The issue is if a criminal organization can ask the IRS for tax exempt status. And the answer is no. And many corporations are criminal enterprises. Right? So is the mafia. The reason they don't get their religious tax exempt status is because, one, they're not really a religion. Let's say they just pretend, because obviously many Catholics, right, many Italians are religious, say, hey, I'm a Christian, Catholic, whatever, Protestant, hey, whatever, give me tax exempt status. The IRS would say, yeah, but you're a criminal enterprise. It's not the religious component. Jerry is not attacking the religious component. I think people are confused about what anti-Scientology is. If you want to fight the church's religious practice, have at it. That's a completely separate deal. But if you want to fight most of its criminal enterprises, that is not a religious quest. The issue is it breaking the law? Yes. They are lying about Jerry. They are knowingly lying to the IRS. You can't do that. Right? And the IRS knows you can't do that. Now, the obvious problem with the mafia boys is it's a little too obvious. Right? So it'd be a little hard for the IRS to pretend to not know that they're lying, because they're like, well, it seems like you guys keep getting in racketeering, RICO. It's going to be a bit of a problem. So all Scientology did, the official church, is pretend, saying, oh, no, it's not a criminal enterprise. So the religion part, the IRS could verify, but the criminal part, they had a problem with, relating to Jerry. And that's the dilemma, right? They've had to lie decade after decade that, oh, yeah, Jerry's crazy. That ruling means nothing. But no, the ruling is fine. Nothing has emerged to dispute the ruling. It hasn't been reversed, to my knowledge. So Jerry is correct. They're violating his rights. They're knowingly violating his rights. You can't do that. And definitely submitting to the IRS, that is illegal. That is wrong. Therefore, the tax exempt status has no validity. And Jerry just did this interview laying this all out yesterday. And Iranis is like, let's talk about my child auditor. That's fine, Aaron. We can talk about the child auditor, but if we want to get rid of the IRS tax exempt status, at least plausibly, within the next couple of years, we should probably focus on Jerry Armstrong. But it's like, no, the Church of Iranis will not speak to Jerry Armstrong. I'm talking about my child auditors. Oh, okay. Is that going to get rid of the tax exempt status? Well, maybe. Let's be open-minded. What's the process? What's the plan? I don't know. He just put out the snarky post. Is the tax exempt status going to be in danger? Well, not yet. With Jerry, at least we have a plan. With Aaron, we don't have anything so far. But to get back to Israel, yeah, I'll try to do more on Israel and its spy propaganda games, because it's finally being allowed to be criticized. And there, we can talk about these things as well. Child abuse, mafia dealings. The state of Israel does a lot of nasty things. But unlike Aaron, maybe we can do things that will actually produce real results. Crazy.